Hello and welcome to Shipreneur BC One Africa Business Radio, the only show that spotlights African women succeeding in their craft with a view to understanding their processes and celebrating their ingenuity. So, welcome to the show. On the trivia today, we round up the series on building self-confidence. And the tip for the taking is face your fears. Aha! Some of us need to learn to stop putting things off out of fear. Others wouldn't even as much as ask for anything because they are afraid to get a no or be rejected. The best way to build your confidence is by facing your fears head on. Understand that mistakes happen and will always happen if you keep trying, and make peace with the fact that it's okay. Failure is feedback. And it's usually not that bad as long as you keep learning from your mistakes and you keep improving. The show continues after this break. Stay with us. You're a segment. You're still listening to Shipreneur with BC One Africa Business Radio. And this is my favorite segment of the show, where I go one-on-one with the Shiro of the day. And today, we have a human resource management specialist with close to decades worth of experience across major subfields within the talent management industry. She holds a Bachelor of Science degree in Biochemistry from the University of Benin, Nigeria, and an MBA in Human Resources from Keller Graduate School of Management, DeVry University, Texas. She's the founder and lead strategist at CISA, an experience improvement company focused on repositioning African brands for market takeover. So, welcome with me, Nnanke Essien.
Thank you for having me here.
I love the name. Let me not use the word that came into my head, but I love the name. Where are you from?
I'm from Cross River State in Nigeria.
Okay. Are you married?
Sure.
Where's your husband from?
Like I said, sure. Like it's normal for me to be married.
Yeah, it's normal for you.
I'm married. My husband is from Akwa Ibom State.
Okay.
In Nigeria as well.
Yeah, of course it's in Nigeria. It's not in the United States.
I make a mistake sometimes.
Yeah. That's fine. So let's talk about you now and what you do. So I know you're an HR manager.
Yeah.
At AA&R Investment Group, and you oversee over 12 subsidiaries in oil and gas, agriculture, logistics. How did you decide to get into that business, and how are you able to manage all of these subsidiaries?
Okay, so I think human resources for me came, would I use the word accidentally? And that was pretty much in one of my experiences working in a biscuit manufacturing company. And at the time, we had people working in the factory, and we had people delivering final end products to us. But then we realized that from a certain time, maybe like 2 p.m. during the day, the products that these people manufacture just become totally unusable. So either the biscuits are broken, something is happening, and it just kept happening at that particular time. And because I worked in quality control at the time, I would be checking these batches. And from 2 o'clock, my batches would just be reading odd numbers.
Wow.
So it's either there's too much water in it, or there's too much flour, or there's less this and less that. And I was also wondering what is going on. And so the thing that broke the camel's back was
the last straw.
One of our biggest customers returned a full pallet of products back to us. And I remember my manager charged it to the quality control office. What is going on? I'm like, what's happening? And he says to me, oh, this has happened. And guess what? Accounting has already put in the figures. We thought we had made some income for that period, and then it was returned. He says, you need to solve this in 1 week. I'm like, okay, this small child, how am I supposed to do what I'm supposed to do in this place? And then, long story short, I went into the factory, started having conversations with those on the line that were actually manufacturing this biscuit, trying to find out. But of course, initially they were worried about me. Like, okay, this person is coming from the office. Maybe the person wants to come and sack us or find out what's
a spy or something.
Yes, but I ended up becoming literal friends with them and trying to find out what's going on. What I realized was that welfare was very poor in that particular company. So at the time, it's 2 o'clock. There's law of diminishing returns. People People are
tired.
Hungry, tired, so they start using the products for their own personal gain. So they make, and literally they made really amazing products. So from bread to flatbread to different stuff. But then it was time for them to actually now create the batches for that hour. So they had to start scrambling with the remaining ingredients, and so that was what was causing issues. So I went back to my boss. I said to him, you know what? I actually found the problem. So I wasn't going there to report anybody to him, but what I was telling him is that we need to work on welfare, because if we work on welfare, work on our people, we will find that they will deliver our results in turn. So we can create a small scheme that gives them some level of petty cash, even if it was at the time 200 naira, to help them get lunch. Yeah, that was a long time ago.
Wow.
To help them get lunch. So if they do, they will focus less on our products. And if they have strength and energy, guess what? They will develop, or they will manufacture our biscuits, and they get to our customers and will not have issues. He said it's expensive. I said it's a small price to pay when you think about the return of a ballot. Because what used to happen then was that we used to carry the ballots to the north and then bring back products, and sell in Lagos. So that was double income from us. But this one, the ballots went to the north and came back with our product. So we didn't sell and we didn't bring anything back. So I said it's a small price to pay, And the one thing he said was that, so where's the HR manager? And I'm like, okay, who's HR? I think that was my very first entry into
human resources. Wow.
But one thing that I learned from that experience was people management, and the fact that you need to review HR from a business transformation point of view, and not necessarily from a process standpoint, or from hire, fire, and mechanical.
I like what you just said. People management. So sometimes when we see HR, we don't see the relationship with the people. We just see them as all those people that used to sack somebody. So once you hear that HR wants you, you're panicking. What have I done? Is my name in the file? And all of that. What do you think about the human resources in different organizations? And how do you think they can be better? How do you think they can make their employees trust them?
Okay. So one of the things that I've come to realize is that HR in Nigeria is a low barrier field. So permit me to say, some people would leave the university and in 2 seconds say, oh, I'm a people person, so I want to go into HR, without understanding the rudiments. The difference between they and actual practitioners is that that's administrative functions. So human resource professionals need to actually see themselves as actual business extenders. In other words, there is a vision from the CEO or from the vision holder or from the owner of the company. Your work as a human resource professional is to extend that vision, and you're extending that vision vis-a-vis your people, vis-a-vis the processes that drive them, and vis-a-vis your culture, which invariably means the behavior that ensures that we are able to achieve that vision. So as a human resource professional, even though you're hiring, you're hiring more or less somebody you're hiring as a mission. In other words, you're hiring people who would help you achieve the vision.
Your mission and
vision. So you're not just going there to hire people from the streets because they have some skills on their CV. You're hiring people who are going to be also fit for your organization, people who understand the concept. So human resources need to see themselves more as business extenders and also as results-driven people. I think most of us are comfortable with that concept of HR is a cost center, and we're only focused on doing the management bidding, but seeing yourself as people who deliver results with your transformation programs and intervention kind of changes the mindset around what human resource professionals are. And I think that some of our governing bodies in Nigeria as well need to do some work with people that you actually then certify as human resource professionals,
to be sure that they qualified, they know what
so is. So should it be with experience? Should it be with the number of years they spent on the field? Should it be how much, they're improving themselves on a day-to-day basis? Should it be certain areas of thought leadership that they can position themselves as within the field? So I feel that we still have a lot of work to do. And the honest truth is that the world is not waiting for us. We're just playing catch up. The world is not waiting for us. So we all need to see ourselves, like I said, as a business extenders and as people whom the business can trust to continue to propel the idea of the vision in the organization.
Yeah. So before I ask you my next question, come close to the mic. We can't be losing this.
Oh, sorry. I used to talk. Is this? I'm sorry. Sorry. It's not
you find a way to do the shakara. Let's see your face and hear the conversation.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, what do you think organizations can start doing to support and motivate their staff for productivity?
Okay. It's very easy. And I say it's very easy because if you want to travel to Kutuenje, for instance, what's your village? Delta. You want to travel to Delta. Okay. Your goal to get to Delta is to maybe meet the king, okay? And to ensure that the king gives you 10 parcels of land. You already have a goal. You already have a result. You know exactly what it is you want to achieve. So what next? The next thing you need to do is to work your way back. What do I need to do to ensure that I get the attention of the king? And I think that's the way managers can help. You don't just throw blanket trainings at people because it's just a training. You can't do that. You need to think about the actual results.
The end goal.
The end goal. And then come back and tell the staff, how do you think your particular job fits into this result? It's a collaboration. I was telling the CEO yesterday, I said you cannot plant a seed and expect the seed to have innovation. No, you can't. You can't plant a seed and expect the seed to have what's that word that they always use? You're not smart. You can't expect the seed to be smart. What you do is to nurture that seed, nurture it to the point where it can now start bearing fruit, and it takes time. Do you understand?
But you know, there's also something about these employers who feel that after they've invested in training their staff, you have better training, you just find somewhere else where the green is, the grass is greener, and so it discourages them from adding additional training. But how does that affect the overall productivity?
So the question is that I'm going to drop names now. Okay, half the companies in Nigeria wait for KPMG staff to get to 3 years before they take them. If KPMG had that mindset and said, "Oh, we won't train our staff," the world will not be finding, actual proper accountants to help them drive, or actual proper consultants to help them drive their vision. So we can't be operating from a scarcity mindset as business leaders. You understand? And that's why that question I said earlier, how does your job relate to the overall goal, is a very important question. Why? Because the staff then takes ownership of his own development or her own development. If the company decides to train me, that's all well and good. But I understand that I have a job, I have an integrity to protect, and I have a particular result or vision I need to achieve. And so if I look at the relationship between my job and that vision, I'm asking myself, what do I have to do to get to the king? So that might come from me setting my goals and telling my manager, I need to achieve X, Y, Z in a couple of days. But what if your company can afford it? Won't you develop yourself? So an organization needs to create would I use the word enabling? And that's because I don't have English right now. But
we can manage enabling.
Yeah, an enabling environment that allows people to consistently improve themselves. The one thing I tell people is that live good at the back and let's focus on getting better. So what can you do every day to get better?
Live good at the back. Let's focus on getting better.
So what can you do on a day-to-day basis to get better? And if I, as an employer, see that you're doing everything to improve yourself, to learn, to build your capacity, it would be so unfair of me not to even say
encourage
go for one
you.
LBS training or go for one training here and there. And trust me, there's so many resources online. It's just that a lot of people have the weirdest and the wrongest mindset about jobs, particularly in this country of ours. And that's why they don't think about improving themselves or, as they always say, upping their game.
Let me help you out a bit. Most of the jobs that people get is just because they want to survive, not necessarily because of what they love what they are doing. Let me use that word. Now, how do you encourage people who are seeking jobs? What sort of jobs should they be looking out for? Is it anyone, as long as I can get my salary, I can feed, or should they focus on getting jobs that they enjoy?
Okay. So I have a different perspective when it comes to this particular conversation. I have a different perspective,
Go ahead.
when it comes to this conversation. And that's because I remember the first day I got into my grad school, the first page I opened in my textbook, it was marketing management, something of that nature. Business something, you understand? Right? So the first page I opened, was basically a pyramid, and it was Maslow's hierarchy. I've never forgotten that page till date. And the concept of Maslow's hierarchy just tells us that there are different stages in life.
Yeah.
Personally, if I was going to get an entry-level job, and I have a personal story. When I came back to Nigeria in 2014, and I'm going to come back to this, my brain works in wonderful ways. When I came back to Nigeria, right, all my friends, Sarah, Kemi, the rest of them, they were already senior officers in GTB, whatnot. They're big girls. I came back to Nigeria with this Ogibo experience in my mind. When I come, I'll be the voices that they'll be rushing, But rushing was not happening. So I had to give myself big brain and tell myself, you know what, girl, what is your plan? My plan at the moment I was not hungry. So it was not the hunger. So salary,
it wasn't survival.
No. So salary would not have been an issue for me. I needed to quickly ramp up my experience in Nigeria so that I could get on. And I gave myself a 3-year target. By 3 years, I'll make manager. By 3 years. Again, goal. By 3 years, I'll make manager. So I had to get experiences that helped me to be able to build organizations really fast and put my name in the sands of their time. So that if I was going to have a conversation with somebody, I can make reference.
You can show your track record.
So I had to go. And I did that 3 years. I made manager and I'm like, okay, yeah, what next? Do you get what I'm trying to say?
No, wait, hold on. Let me just cut you a bit. So you graduated from school and you already you came back, you had a goal, you had a plan, you knew what you wanted to do, just like that?
Yeah, sure.
Whoa.
Sure.
Whoa.
So that's me. And that's because all my life I've always been working. I've never really not been able to. But for somebody who is getting into the work environment, there is a hierarchy. The first things first is survival. I just came out of school. You know, when we were in school, we used to have pocket money and think we are very rich. But the moment you finish NYSC,
they will even stop the pocket money in the first place. That's the first thing.
You just realize that there's nothing else. So your own is your first foot in the door. But I would say, instead of just focusing only on hunger, focus on becoming a generalist as much as possible.
Okay, what do you mean by that?
You do the admin work, do the paperwork.
A bit of everything?
Yes.
Okay.
Try as much as possible to be valuable to the different value chains. The reason I'm saying that is because you tend to then find what your heart beats for. Because straight out of university, sometimes you really don't know.
You are confused most of the time.
Know what you want to do. You know, but the moment you are valuable in different aspects of the business, particularly if you worked in a consulting company like mine, where I was dealing with multiple projects all at once, you find that there's some parts that you enjoy doing, and there's some other parts you do not enjoy doing. Now, if you're going to scale up on that ladder of Maslow's hierarchy, like I said, you would then be going in there with a more what's that word? Informed mind. Yeah, you go there with a more informed mind because you're not just going there to get any other job. You're going for a job that your heart actually beats for. Now, if the money comes with it, you're more excited. But then you're doing things that you get excited about. You find that people are 40 years old, they spend 15 years in the company, and they're still not happy.
Yeah, true.
They still don't feel fulfilled.
We get that, yeah.
Do you understand? So if you start from that point where it's about money initially, as you're going up the ladder, you need to start doing what I call your own personal self-audit. I do that for my business where I do core assessments to say, am I deviating from my core or am I still in my core? As an individual, you should do that for yourself as well.
You should know your core,
yes,
first of all.
Am I deviating from my core? Even if you don't know your core, the fact that you're doing, maybe you do payroll, for instance, and you find that I get excited when it's that time of the month, but you're doing recruitment and you're like, oh, Debbie Downer, not again, you know, or you're doing strategy, that's me, and I come alive and I'm like, but then you're doing the reports and you're like, I haven't
seen anybody that likes reporting anyway.
Do you understand? There are people.
Are you serious?
Adiri loves to write reports. I don't know. You know, so if you're looking for somebody to do research, just call her. She would get it done. And the way she gets information, you know, it's a skill we have to learn. You know, but if you do that, you can then either meet a career counselor, or you can, you know, sit with your own self or your mentor or your body in the organization, depending on the kind of organization you have, and say, I like to do this kind of things. What sort of roles do you think, or what sort of opportunities do you think are available for me in this particular aspect? Person may say, build your skills here, build your skills there. Even you can go to HR and say, okay, based on the career classification or job classification we have in the organization, what do you think my current skills, where do you think my current skills and strengths lie? These are the things I enjoy. The only problem is that a lot of human resource professionals don't encourage this sort of conversation.
No, they don't.
Because the company already has laid down straitjacket ways, but you don't do that, particularly if you understand Maslow's hierarchy. What you want in your organization is individuals who can get to the peak of their career with you.
Excited working with you.
And their peak of career is really self-actualization. Because if I continue doing what I enjoy, my goodness, I will be with you forever. Because you meet me at my point, I meet you at my point. And it's a marriage made in heaven. You get what I'm trying to say? But that's why I say HR professionals need to think beyond, I'm the one on the bus, I can't tell you.
Because did they teach them all these things in school? Or you got it from heaven?
I think. I'm joking with you.
That's so quite profound.
What you've just said is very important, but it's important to also understand business environments and what actual business owners seek for. What they want in terms of results. So that will inform your mind with the general body of knowledge that you acquire as a HR professional. So,
fantastic. On that note, we'll take a break. When we come back, we'll continue this conversation with Nnanke Essien. Stay with us.
Thank you.
Welcome back. You're still listening to Shipreneur OBC When Africa Business Radio, and I still have my delectable Nnanke Essien here, a HR professional, and she's dishing it to us. And this is an interview that I would like a lot of young people who are getting into the workspace to listen to, because you're going to learn quite a lot. So let's talk about your company, CISA.
Yeah.
What exactly do you do for businesses and organizations?
That's a very beautiful question. So CISA has evolved over time, and we've kind of perfected our
We want to hear you well, please.
CISA has evolved over time, and I would say that we've perfected our messaging in such a way that it now connects to individuals. So what does CISA do? CISA is basically focused on transforming organizations and specific results-driven teams. When I say result-driven teams, I'm talking about sales, marketing, business development, those people that are economic drivers within the organization.
Okay.
And when we talk about the word transformation, it can sound really big. But in simple terms, what we do is that we just help you to renew and reinforce your vision, your people, and your culture. Those are the three things that we do. Because we figured out that when people have inconsistent results in the marketplace, or they have misaligned
values,
let's scale back on the values.
Okay.
They have misaligned plots, so to speak, misaligned issues or misaligned thoughts within the organization. It still boils back to what you just mentioned, the values and the vision. Something has happened there. Because what we find in a lot of businesses in Nigeria is that even though we originally started with those vibe and vit and all of that, you figure out that because of the way we view information, we tend to borrow other people's values. We tend to borrow other people's beliefs. We tend to stand on other people's visions. Okay, because sometimes we don't stop to listen. We don't stop to.
We don't have clarity.
Yes, we don't stop to think about. We don't stop to think about what exactly we want to do. So when you start your business already on borrowed ground, or you start your business on superficial values that don't belong to you, what generally tends to happen is that you tend to hire people who would work on those
superficial.
You get it, and at the end you start having clients who are complaining. You might get some results, but it won't be long lasting. So you start calling consultant A, consultant B, but consultants will say, okay, do employee handbook, do family retreat, do this, but they don't understand that we have to go back and excavate the foundation. So CISA has discovered that where we need to work on is really renewal and reintegration of what the vision stands for, and as much as possible preserve it so that it is passed on in its raw form from generation to generation. Now you might say the world is changing, technology is coming, just like
how
Jesus
do we
Christ
align
said.
that?
Yes, just like Jesus Christ said, he didn't come to abolish the law, he came to establish it. So
CISA has come to establish
that's it. We are not coming to change what you already have. We are coming to say, as the world is changing, your strategy may change, but your core remains who your core is.
Wow. So what you're saying is, in essence, is that you help organizations understand their core.
Thank you. You said it very well.
And preserve their core, so that even when the company is going through its transformation, upgrading, that core remains.
Because that's
profound.
Think about it. Companies that have lasted 100 years, Coca-Cola, Guinness, Twinning Steam, all the same companies you used when you were a child and you're using now for your children.
Still here.
Yes, and they're still relevant. Guess what? When you go to Atlanta, you go to Coca-Cola's museum, and you're reliving their story and how they started. Things haven't really changed. What has changed is that people have come, they've gone. Strategy is changing as per people are changing, and all that. But the core of who they are
is still there.
Wow.
We need to understand that. So the way some of us start business in this part of the world is everybody thinks about survival first. Everybody's buying this and selling. Let me quickly buy and sell. You haven't really thought about why you want to buy this particular product and sell. But I want you to give us a few tips on how we can begin to build formidable companies. Companies that will give us good results and stand the test of times. Tell us in a few words, what are some of those things you think we must have in place to be able to achieve that?
Okay. So the first thing is that you must be solving a problem. And half the time, in fact, I think 95.9% of the time, the problem comes from something you've experienced before, something you've seen happen before, or something you want to make better. The moment you know that, right, it becomes easier for you to say, what is driving me? See, there has to be a driver. If there's no driver, there's no way that we can start instituting these pillars I've been talking about. There has to be something that is driving you to want to. So let's say, for instance, you're a plus size person. There's no plus size person in this room, so I'm free to say it.
I am.
No, you're not. Excuse me, vegetarian. Anyway, so so you have you're a plus size person, and you find that as a plus size person you don't have a lot of variety. So there are clothes there, but it's just to make you feel the way
good
you feel.
Yeah.
And you want to solve that problem. The problem comes from the frustration that you are experiencing. Let's say you do a small market survey and you find that, okay, your sister's friend who is also plus size and some of your friends who
still
also
has the
same
problem.
You say, okay, it's a valid reason to start this business. what is driving you? What is driving you is the fact that you want to make plus size people feel comfortable in themselves when they're shopping for their outfit. You want them to feel excited. You want them to feel this, you want them to feel that. You don't want them to feel like, they're just an afterthought. You want them to feel like they're actually the real reason why you're in business. Having that in mind alone just tells you have a direction. And when you have that direction, you start to plot the graph around how to get there. So you start by saying, because I have plus size people, I will not be insensitive enough to hire just stick-looking people who look like they've only been eating carrots all their lives. Because when a plus size person walks in, she gets uncomfortable because that person does not understand my emotions. But I will get somebody who at least might be going through that journey of maybe trying to help themselves in that state, so they kind of understand what I'm experiencing and they can show me around and make me feel comfortable. Because don't forget, one of your drivers was to have comfort for your staff, for your people. You're asking yourself, I want there to be variety. I want them to
give them options.
I want them to have options. So you're going to be thinking, what sort of vendors am I going to reach out to help me be able to buy XYZ? So you get the right focus. I want them to be able to come into the store and feel comfortable, excited. So what kind of aesthetics am I going to have? Are you seeing how just understanding your vision and
helps
understanding your drivers helps you to fill the holes? But a lot of people just want to run in. Back to Maslow. Don't run in at that point when it is hunger that is clearly in the
Hey, Jesus.
Do you understand? Please don't, except it's a hustle. But if it is something, if it's a business you want to build, and you want to build, like you said, formidable, don't just run in like that. Start from, what am I trying to solve? What am I trying to achieve? At the end of the day, if somebody comes to my store, what's the KPI? Or when they walk into my store, what do I want them to say when they go, oh my God, that person thought about me? If that's the only thing that you think about, God, you would find that all your operations align with that view. Your staff members understand that your trainings, the story you tell, your website, your clients, the kind of SLAs you have, your processes, they will all align to that. Oh wow, somebody thought about me. But sometimes we just rush. Hire the next person. Hire. Give me 5 people. I need 5 people in 2 weeks. And
everybody's walking around blindly, not understanding what.
And guess what? Go and interview staff members. Half of them are like, why am I here?
Hey, Chimo.
Why am I here?
Let me even ask you, because I know that you recruit staff for organizations. What are some of the things that you look out for when you're doing that recruitment?
Okay. So the first thing I do when I meet a client is to ask, what is your problem statement? I don't just go ahead and say, oh, you need an
5
accountant.
people.
If you need an accountant, why did we get to the point where we need an accountant? Are your operations increasing? Okay, is it that the current accountant you have is not up to par? By that way, I know that something's wrong with your recruitment process. It's possible you don't have a recruitment process in-house. What exactly do you want this accountant to achieve? I ask so many questions. There's a questionnaire that I give you, so people get tired of me. And the reason I ask this question is so that when I'm going into the market, I'm armed with the right information. I'm not just looking for random people who just went to University of Kutu. I'm looking for actual people who fit into that profile. And then when I know the problems, it helps me to be able to ask situational questions at my interviews, so that when I'm interviewing you, I kind of have an idea of how you would solve XYZ problem in this state. And I know, okay, this person is going to fit into this place. And then I ask questions based on the company's values as well, so that if there's a shift in values, I know this person might not be a fit in this place. But sometimes managers will say, oh, let them come, we will train them. If you say so, I sign disclaimer, I cannot shout. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? I cannot shout because...
You look like you can actually shout.
No, I can't shout.
Go ahead.
You know I'm nice, right? So I do that and I go around the circle. It can be a long process. But the matter is that people are the resources that are going to help you achieve your vision. So if you don't get it right at the people point, you get frustrated. I have a lot of managers call me, my staff cannot take initiative, my staff are not problem solvers. What went through your recruitment process?
Wow.
So a lot of people, again, back to our profession, a lot of people don't put thought into it. It's just, my KPI says my turnaround time for recruitment is 2 weeks. You can't do that. I tell you straight on, 2 weeks is not enough for me. I'm sorry. If you can't, you go on somewhere else. But half the time, they always come back.
Because you need time to process, to search.
I need to understand my recruitment source. I need to understand my recruitment strategy, because one size will not fit all. I need to understand the company they are coming into. I've recruited for somebody before, and I thought in my head that the work resumption time was Monday to Friday, 8 to 5. But for me to realize that they work Sunday to Sunday.
Back to back. Break. Yes. Wow.
Do you understand?
Whoa.
So if I just went and hired somebody and didn't tell the person that this is what you're going to come and experience, they'll just call me a fraud, and that's reputational damage for my company as well. So the more answers I get, the easier it is for me to be able to get people who are aligned. So if I'm going to put out my job profile or my job description, I'm telling you exactly some of the things that you need to know. This is a company that closes or that works during holidays. Or
this is a company that they don't wear trousers.
So So I'll weed off those people who will say, no, that's not a company for me. But there's some people who will say, yes, that's a company for me, and they will come through. And that journey does not take 6 days. It doesn't.
It doesn't. That's awesome. Now, I know you meet a lot of young people in this business of recruiting for organizations. How employable do you think the youths of today are? In plain words, give me the truth. Hit it.
I think that people need to realize, right? I'm not going to hit it because I'm not a wicked person.
No, but
I think,
don't you think there's a place for the truth?
Yeah, I agree. But what I try to run away from is generalization, because there's also some people who have taken it upon themselves to be good. But what I would say is that the world is changing. And because the world is changing, it means the thinking of people, the thinking of organizations also is evolving. So we just had a pandemic that is still, very
still
much
there
present.
Somehow, yeah.
But it has also changed the way people think about organizations. People are now more value driven. If you notice, a lot of organizations have come back to their values. A lot of people are thinking more culture. People are having more mental health awareness. People are thinking about how to better the environment. People are having more. So as these things are happening, it means that the effects around the industry is also imminent. It means that what got you into your job before may not keep you. Because what we want is problem solvers. We don't want to be wasting time again. COVID showed us that we could work from home. COVID showed us that we didn't need a full-fledged building to have to work. COVID showed us that we could cut cost. So I would ordinarily cut cost from people who are not providing solutions for me. And the only way you can provide solution is to immerse yourself in that organization, is to know what are the changes around. If Saudi Aramco is coming to Nigeria, what does that mean for Shell? What does that mean
to
for
be
NNPC?
Flexible?
Yeah, to kind of have your ears down. So start with reading economic news, listen to your show. Just put your ears out there. Don't go to Twitter and just be looking for...
I like that. Listen to my show.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Don't just go to Twitter and join Twitter wars. Just look for the meat. If it is
TikTok.
Yeah, if it is Nairametrics you want to listen to or you want to read, if it is, this day, business day, or maybe one newspaper you like that is always giving you updates on information, just be aware, because you don't know where that information is going to lead to. Now, the other thing I would say is that have your mouth open. If you go into a meeting and you have the opportunity of being there once, the chances that you'll be there again a second time might not be there.
So make your presence known.
Exactly. So if at that point you go there and you're just like taking minutes and saying, okay, yes, ma, yes, sir, they forget you easily, very fast. So
wow,
these are things that young people need to think about. So I will not go out and say you're not employable, because there are some organizations that are still at that bottom rung who will take you. But if that's your career vision, well, that's good and well. But if your career vision is to grow, is to become a person of value, is to become a thought leader in certain areas, then you should
put in the work by yourself.
Yeah, put in the work, earn the position, and behave like your predecessors, or people who have been there before, or people who are already making or getting some level of progress in that environment, and be better. Every day is an opportunity to let good go and focus on the better.
See, this is all I have taken from here. Let the good go and focus on the better. Now, what do you think is the future for Nigeria, especially in HR, in businesses? What do you see for us?
So with Nigeria, I've just figured we're a very resilient environment. That's one beautiful thing that is evident in Nigeria. We have people who, against all odds, are pushing the barriers. What I see for Nigeria is that we are not stuck with one option. We are very situation has pushed us to finding options, and options means that we are getting deep into world matters, economic issues, changes in different industries and places that we find ourselves. So I just feel that Nigerians are going to, I hope I don't sound like a non-Nigerian, but I feel that Nigerians are going to learn the concept of living in Nigeria but not operating in Nigeria. So Nigerians are, and what does that mean? That means that we are living here, but we are borderless. So we are there solving problems in Saudi Arabia,
globally,
solving problems in America, solving problems in this and that, and using tech to push our ways past the boundaries of Nigeria. So even if we can't live, we are still imprinting our footmarks everywhere, because we are quite brilliant people, and like I said, we are resilient. So I feel that we become borderless, and barrier is no longer how do you say it? There's no longer a barrier anymore. It's no longer like a disadvantage that you're in Nigeria, because you're now borderless.
It's a global village anyway.
Yeah, and then borderlessness still refers to you understanding the language of the global economy, understanding the language of global powers across markets, capital markets, investments and whatnot. So I feel that Nigeria will become borderless. We'll be living here, most of us will be living here
and solving problems for other people in their different countries. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So how can people reach you? So I've been to your Instagram page. I don't know if I followed you. I think I'll go back and follow, because you usually come up with some nuggets that you leave for business people like us and people that want to develop themselves. So how can people reach you? Can you give us?
So my Instagram handle is Nnanke_Essien.
Okay.
Yeah, if you send me a message, I'll be very happy to respond to you. I'm not going to give you my number. I'm sorry. But yeah, you can also reach me on LinkedIn.
So your business number is not there? It's not on?
It's there actually.
Okay.
But the number escaped my head.
Okay, that's fine.
Because my assistant handles that.
Okay. Calm down, please. Calm down. Thank you so much for being on the show. I had
and then you can send me an email if you have any questions. Nnanke@gmail.com.
Okay.
It's the easiest email to reach me.
Okay. Before you go, do you take business from small startups?
Oh, sure.
Do you help them?
Sure.
And you're not so pricey?
No, let me explain to you. My eyes is for the biggest mark anyway, but I have products that small businesses can leverage. One of my products I think is very helpful, has been very helpful, is operational ease. It just helps you to get into the scope of, okay, what can I do here and there. When I get bigger, I'll call her to come in. But for now, let me just listen to her voice, use her templates, and work on something.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for coming. Wish you all the best in your business, and we hope that you expand. You sit here and solve problems for Arabian countries and all those countries. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's it on Shipreneur will be see you on Africa Business Radio. Thank you so much for listening in on the show today. If you have any suggestions on how this show can be better, you can send a DM to Africa Business Radio on Instagram, and also BC Ubo on Instagram, and we will attend to you. Till I come your way again next week. Bye bye.